I used to sit on a cheap dining chair for hours. My lower back screamed every night, and I wasted hundreds on supposed ergonomic chairs that just felt like wooden planks. Finding a budget desk chair that actually supports your body without draining your wallet feels impossible, because there is too much junk out there. But after testing dozens of budget options, I've finally found the ones that work. Today, I'm ranking the top 7 budget desk chairs, and you won't believe the premium comfort our number 1 pick delivers. Let's count them down. 7. Hbada Office Task Desk Chair. When I first assembled the Hbada Office Task Desk Chair, I was genuinely drawn to its sleek, minimalist aesthetic. It has a modern, clean look with a white frame and black mesh that visually fits beautifully into a compact home office setup. The chair is incredibly lightweight, and the assembly process took me less than 15 minutes with the provided hex key. For a budget entry, it certainly looks the part of a modern productivity tool, and I was eager to see if the sitting experience matched the visual appeal. The standout feature of this chair is the flip-up armrests, which I initially thought would be incredibly useful. The ability to fold the arms up and tuck the chair completely under my desk saved a ton of space in my small office. However, during long working sessions, this feature quickly became a massive drawback. Because the arms are designed purely to flip out of the way, they lack any sort of height, width, or depth adjustability. I constantly found my shoulders shrugging because the armrest sat just a fraction too high for my desk setup, leading to significant neck strain by the early afternoon. The seat cushion was another area where my initial optimism quickly faded. When you first sit down, the high-density foam feels plush and inviting, providing a decent amount of support for quick tasks or short email sessions. But after crossing the 2-hour mark, that same foam completely bottomed out. I could feel the hard plastic base underneath the cushion pressing against my tailbone. 6. FlexiSpot C7 Premium Ergonomic Chair. Out of the box, the chair feels heavy and substantial. I tested the version with a mesh back and foam seat, though a full mesh option is available. The chair boasts a robust feature set, including 3D armrests, a multi-tilt lock, and its highly advertised dynamic bionic lumbar support system. The dynamic lumbar support system was the feature I was most excited to test, but it quickly became my biggest point of frustration. The lumbar cushion is designed to move and pivot with your body as you shift in your seat, theoretically maintaining constant support. In practice, however, the spring mechanism behind the lumbar pad is incredibly stiff and aggressive. Instead of gently cradling my lower back, it constantly felt like a firm fist was pushing me forward out of the seat pan. Even when I tried locking it into a static position, it remained far too pronounced, making it nearly impossible to relax into the backrest. The materials used on the chair also left me a bit underwhelmed considering the price tier. The mesh used on the backrest is highly durable, but it has a very rough, almost abrasive texture to it. When I was testing the chair while wearing a thin t-shirt, I could feel the scratchy weave of the mesh rubbing against my skin every time I shifted my weight. Additionally, the high-density foam on the seat pan, while certainly more supportive and resilient than the Hbada, retains a significant amount of body heat. My legs felt noticeably warm and sweaty after a few hours of intense video editing. While the 3D armrests offer a good amount of adjustability, the mechanism used to control them feels remarkably cheap and clunky. 5. HON Ignition 2.0 Task Chair. The HON Ignition represents a very deliberate shift toward reliable, commercial-grade office furniture. When I transitioned to testing this chair, the jump in overall build quality was immediately apparent. There is nothing flashy or overly futuristic about the design. It looks like a traditional, professional office chair. But the moment I sat down, I could feel the structural stability. There were no creaks, no wobbly armrests, and no cheap plastic snapping sounds when I engaged the adjustment levers. One of my favorite features during my testing period was the seat glide mechanism. Many budget chairs completely ignore seat depth, which is a nightmare for blood circulation in your legs. The Ignition 2.0 allows you to smoothly slide the seat pan forward or backward to perfectly accommodate your leg length. I am slightly taller than average, and being able to pull the seat forward so that there was exactly 2 inches of clearance between the back of my knees and the seat edge made a tremendous difference in my lower body comfort throughout the workday. The synchro tilt mechanism on this chair is beautifully engineered. When you lean back, the backrest and the seat pan tilt at a 2-to-1 ratio, meaning your feet stay firmly planted flat on the floor while your upper body reclines. I found this incredibly useful for taking quick phone calls or reading long documents. The tension knob under the seat is highly responsive, allowing me to dial in the exact amount of resistance I wanted when leaning back, providing a floating sensation that is rare to find in this price bracket. 4. Ticova Ergonomic Office Chair. The Ticova Ergonomic Office Chair is a product that completely shattered my expectations regarding how much adjustability you can actually get on a tight budget. When I unpacked it, I was surprised to find a massive, deeply curved headrest, 3D armrests, and a highly customizable lumbar system. Putting it together took a bit more time due to the sheer number of adjustable components, but once fully assembled, it looked like a chair that should cost at least 3 times its actual retail price. The lumbar support on the Ticova is incredibly unique because it allows for both height and depth adjustment. During my testing, I found that twisting the dial behind the backrest allowed me to push the lumbar cushion further forward into my back or retract it to be more subtle. Because I have a deep natural curve in my lower spine, being able to push that support forward was an absolute game changer. It provided a level of targeted, firm support that completely eliminated the lower back fatigue I usually experience by late afternoon. The seat cushion is another major highlight of my time with the Ticova. It utilizes a 3-inch thick, high-density foam that is molded into a distinct W shape. This contouring naturally guides your hips into the center of the seat and evenly distributes your body weight across your thighs. Unlike cheaper foam cushions that flatten out, the Ticova seat remains springy and supportive even during my longest video editing marathons. The waterfall edge design at the front of the seat also did an excellent job of reducing pressure on the back of my knees. The headrest is perhaps the most impressive inclusion. It adjusts not just in height, but also in the angle of the tilt. I was able to position it perfectly to catch the base of my skull when I reclined to watch a video or take a break. 3. Sihoo M57 Ergonomic Office Chair. I was specifically eager to test this chair during the warmer weeks of the year, as foam seat cushions can become unbearable in a hot office. From the moment I sat down, the breathable mesh fabric provided a cooling airflow that kept my back and legs completely dry and comfortable. The design is sleek, industrial, and looks fantastic in front of any modern desk. The quality of the mesh tension is where the Sihoo M57 truly shines. Often, budget all-mesh chairs suffer from a hammock effect, where the mesh sags in the middle, throwing your hips out of alignment and causing terrible posture. The M57, however, uses a tightly woven, highly resilient material that offers a firm, buoyant sitting experience. It brilliantly suspended my body weight, providing equal support across my entire back and thighs. I never felt like I was sinking into the chair, but rather floating perfectly on top of it. The adjustability suite on this chair is fantastic for the price. The 3D armrests are topped with a soft, forgiving polyurethane material that felt incredibly comfortable against my elbows. I was able to easily adjust the height, pivot the pads inward for typing, and slide them forward when I was gaming. The armrests lock firmly into place and do not suffer from the annoying rattling issues I experienced with lower-ranked chairs, making my workflow feel much more stable and professional. The lumbar support system on the M57 is straightforward but highly effective. It features a padded cushion mounted on the back of the chair that can be adjusted both vertically and horizontally via a simple knob mechanism. 2. Branch Ergonomic Chair Pro. The Branch Ergonomic Chair Pro immediately stands out because it doesn't look like a typical clunky office chair. It features a stunning Italian-designed aesthetic with sleek lines, an aluminum base, and a beautifully woven mesh backrest. The unboxing and assembly experience felt premium from start to finish, with incredibly clear instructions and high-quality hardware. When I placed it in my studio, it instantly elevated the look of the entire room, but I was most impressed by how it actually felt to use day in and day out. This chair boasts an impressive 8 points of adjustment, allowing for a deeply personalized ergonomic experience. The standout feature during my testing was the sheer smoothness of the mechanisms. The seat depth slider glides effortlessly on its tracks, allowing me to perfectly align my knees with the seat edge. The tilt lock and tension controls are easily accessible and operate with a satisfying, heavy click. When I engaged the recline, the chair moved with my body fluidly, offering a perfectly balanced resistance that felt incredibly high-end. The seat cushion of the Branch Pro requires a slight adjustment period, but it is entirely by design. It uses a much firmer, high-density foam than most budget chairs. For the first 2 days of testing, it felt almost too stiff. However, by day 3, I realized that this firmness was actively forcing me into a proper, upright posture. Instead of slumping down into a soft cushion and rounding my shoulders, the firm seat pan kept my hips elevated and aligned. By the end of a grueling 10-hour workday, I felt noticeably more energized and lacked the typical stiffness I associate with long sitting sessions. 1. Colamy Atlas Ergonomic Desk Chair. The moment I lifted the central base out of the packaging, the sheer weight and robust construction blew me away. It utilizes premium plastics, thick metals, and a level of craftsmanship that usually costs north of $1,000. When I finally sat in it, the immediate, enveloping comfort was undeniable. It is without a doubt the most supportive chair on this list. The backrest and headrest combination on the Atlas is nothing short of exceptional. The backrest features an independently pivoting lower lumbar section that actively tracks your movements. Unlike the aggressive push of the FlexiSpot, the Colamy's lumbar support applies a gentle, firm pressure that feels like a hand supporting your lower spine. When you recline using the buttery smooth tilt mechanism, the headrest perfectly catches the nape of your neck, making it an absolute joy to lean back and review footage or take a mental break. The armrests on the Colamy Atlas are true 4D, meaning they adjust in height, width, depth, and pivot angle. During my testing, the ability to pull the armrests slightly inward and angle them toward my keyboard completely eliminated the wrist and shoulder fatigue I usually experience when typing scripts. The buttons to control these adjustments have a premium, tactile snap to them, and once locked into place, the armrests are rock solid. They are topped with a thick, dense rubber that feels incredibly comfortable against the skin. The seat cushion is the crowning achievement of this chair. It utilizes a massive slab of molded, high-density foam wrapped in a breathable, durable fabric.